Oh my god, I'm recording. Holy shit. Shit. Turn that off. Dude, no. My Instagram. Oh my god. I am so sorry. Anyway. Oh my god. Did not know I was recording. I accidentally hit the button. What's up, guys? Back with another video. We are going to be doing a season review of what's happened in Pepsi so far, and playoff review. Hold on, this fucking desk is about to fucking collapse like the Leaning Tower of Pisa here in about 400 years. Anyway, we had a 12-race regular season in Pepsi. It's going to be an 8-race playoffs. Now, I am recording this video before the first playoff race at New Hampshire, which takes place at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, which is approximately the square root of 49, or the square root of 36 plus 1, or the square root of 8, or the square root of 64 minus 1. And, it's been a fun season so far. The pit stop limit is for sure made races a lot more interesting. It's added a lot of strategy into the races. That is much needed. I would say the pit stop limit is one of the best things to add into a league. It's not complicated to where it makes people's brains hurt, but it's just enough to the point to where your brain has to work a little bit, and I think that's perfect. And I just want to say this. I've loved this season so far. We've had some great races, and we're going to talk about some people before we before we officially start the playoffs. This video should release before the playoffs start at New Hampshire. So let's just get someone out of the way, like Freddie. A Game 7 moment from Freddie last week to get into the playoffs at Talladega. He won the race. Got into the playoffs, his first win in Pepsi ever, and it couldn't have came at a better time. Freddie, he had won a stage this season. It was at Phoenix, and this was one of the main showcases of why the pit stop limit is elite. Due to some pit strategy, he was able to win the stage, and he wasn't the only person that was on that strategy, so it really showed early in the season. Freddie, he could compete, especially if some of the top competitors are not competitive at that moment. And Freddie, of course, an underdog for these playoffs, but, we got New Hampshire here, we got Darlington, we got Lime Rock. So in these first 3 races to decide our championship 6. And Freddie, he needs to only get into the top 6 to be eligible to compete for the championship and the 5-race chase to end it off. So, we'll see what Freddie can do. I have high hopes. Freddie seemed really locked in. He's been talking about this race every day since Talladega. He's really pumped for this New Hampshire race, and, I'm sure he'll be ready to compete. Now we're going to talk about someone who I would say everybody's waiting for him to pop off, and that's Josh. Josh has not won yet this season, but he's gotten so close, it seems, on multiple occasions. He could have easily won Nashville. He could have, begotten some incidents. He could have won Las Vegas. Both some controversy involving the lap car of Grigga and me and Boom working together to get to him. We were able to make that a 3-car fight for the win, and Josh ended up losing. Josh, though, however, is top 5 in points. He probably would be second in points, but he did have to miss a few races at the end, which ended up giving second place in points to Abby, which we'll get to. But I would say Josh, he's due for a win at this point. I think he's definitely going to win at least one race during these playoffs. He's really fast. My fault. I had to drink something. It's getting fucking dehydrated. Anyway, I think Josh, he can definitely be a threat to win the championship for sure. Now, playoff points do carry over into the final round, so it's going to be huge for Josh to get some playoff points during these 3 races. Now, the playoff format, or the points format for the playoffs have changed to allow to, even if someone has a big gap with a playoff points advantage, they can still easily lose it with how this playoff or with how this points format will work for the playoffs. I like this points format. I really do. I think it should work out pretty well. Even stage points, there can be more points rewarded now in stages. So, yeah, I really like it. I do think it's definitely going to make everyone have a shot regardless of playoff points, while it does obviously provide an advantage. I think Josh can be a threat at a track like today at New Hampshire. He's already done a league race here at Trucks New Hampshire in Hennessy, and a lot of people have not done a truck race at New Hampshire in this game in terms of like a league race. So, that's an advantage. He has the experience above a lot of people entering this race today in terms of that track and these trucks. Fuck. Excuse me. And I do think he can be a threat today. And obviously a threat. I do have Josh making my final six. Let's talk about Cade Allman, Hendrick Chase 9, otherwise known as, I'm trying to think of something here, Harvey Weinstein. Anyway, Harvey Weinstein, a.k.a. Cade Allman, won a race earlier at Nashville, or earlier in the season at Nashville. He has 2 wins, though. Another one coming at Charlotte. Really strong that race as well. A crazy finish with Hines. Cade has definitely shown he can have great races in these trucks. Surely he's not great every week, but definitely has his moments. And, considering it's playoffs, you got to bring your A game. And I think Cade Allman knows better than anyone how to bring their A game. I'm sure Cade will be a threat to make the final 6. He probably will get in. He does have more playoff points than most people entering. Yes, he does have 16 playoff points. Compared to a lot of people with like 9 and 7 and So I think Cade will obviously be a threat to make the final 6. Let's talk about Hines. Hines, definitely one of the best people on NASCAR 25, period. Everybody knows this. Hines, I definitely have him making my final 6. He's been strong all season. He hasn't raced every race this season, but raced more than enough to get in the playoffs. Obviously, got some wins on there. Obviously, he's going to make the final 6, in my personal opinion, unless a disaster happens or something like that. Isaiah Hines, we know what's up when it comes to Isaiah. Speedin, same thing with him. Speedin's really good at this game, otherwise known as Connor, otherwise known as, what's a pedophile? Cody Dennison. He's a pedophile, right? I don't know. Rafael Lessard. Corbin Forst, whichever one. I don't care. Connor, he's just really good at this game, man, especially in the trucks. I mean, it seems every time he's racing, it's at minimum a top 5. So, obviously, I think he's going to make the final 6 too. And another person I have making the final 6, and this one's more of a surefire pick than almost anyone, Colton Irvin. Colton, I think trucks is honestly probably his best series. Colton's really good in the trucks, especially when it comes to like a short track or a track that requires a lot of off-throttle time. It just seems like Colton is a step above the rest more times than not. Colton, we know what's up with him, man. Arguably the best driver in the field. Probably the best driver in the field. And he's looking to make the final 6 and win the championship. I'm sure of it. So we'll see how that goes with him. And again, another thing that's big about this playoff format, you only got to be in the top 6 to make the 5 race chase for the championship. So for a lot of these guys, it's not going to be that challenging to at least make the final 6. But a big thing for them in these 3 races, build up as much playoff points as possible. You can argue build up your hit and be able to use those points to your advantage in these the last 5 races. Who else have we got to talk about? Abby, that's right. Abby, he came into the playoffs, second in points. Didn't have a playoff point. He only before the playoff points given to you for points finished in the regular season. I keep saying and after every statement. I know it's annoying. Suck my fucking dick. Anyway, Abby has a 8.2 average finish which, considering most races we get around 12 people, that isn't that good. Let's just be honest here, that isn't that good. Only 3 top 5s to Obby's name entering these playoffs. I'm sure he'd like to increase that number. But however, one thing about Obby, he's always going to show up. 12 starts, tied for the first most starts all season with me, obviously, with 12. Raced every race of the regular season. He's getting his experience in. He's only getting better. He's young. No offense to Epstein. And I think Obby in these playoffs, especially with a track like, I can see a track like Darlington, a lot of people making mistakes. If Obby's able to stay consistent and not make those mistakes, those could easily be a few positions. For Obby to make the final 6, it'd be tough for sure with this field, but I do think it is possible, obviously, especially getting a win. Who knows? We get a late race restart or some drama, but I think consistency is going to matter a lot, especially considering a lot of these guys are really close on playoff points from 2nd through 8th, or from 2nd through 10th. So, I mean, showing up is going to be a big thing, which we'll get to missing races in a second because Deegan, he has to miss today. So we'll get to that. But attendance is not only going to be huge, but consistency is going to be huge as well. So we'll see if Obby can step up his game for these playoffs. I know he thinks he can. Obby's really confident. And I'm sure he's going to put forward his best effort to make the final 6. Now we're just going to go ahead and move on to Deegan. All right, let's get the let's just scratch off the Band-Aid. Nigga, wrong video. Let's scratch off the Band-Aid. Deegan is missing this race. He is missing New Hampshire. He was one of the people who raced the Hennessy race here, so he had more experience than most entering today when it comes to trucks New Hampshire League races in NASCAR 25, and he can't make the race. He's got to go to a friend's birthday party. Now, we can say all we want about, going to a Diddy party or whatever, but a big thing is Deegan's playoff hopes are automatically in danger here. Missing a race and missing a race is detrimental. He better hope that he did obviously apply for last place points, but with this points format, he's got to hope not much people show up, I'm not going to lie, for the last place points to actually mean something. Obviously, there's tracks like Darlington and Lime Rock in there. 2 definitely, I would say, wild cards of this round. So Deegan, his playoffs aren't over, obviously. He can win one of those races, you never know. I would say his best shot's probably Darlington, obviously. Considering Lime Rock, I don't know. I just feel like that's going to be more of a people who are usually good at road course are going to do good at road course, or do good at Lime Rock, obviously, there. I don't think it's going to be much of a wild card race, unless there's obviously a late race caution to shake some shit up. We'll see what Deegan can do. Not off to the right foot here, though. Not at all. Who else have we not talked about? Let's go to point settings. Boger. Michael Boger. Some might call him the Switzerland defense, NATO. I don't know. No one calls him that. Boger is definitely one of the better people on NASCAR 25 in this community. Some people shit on him. I see through it, though. With all due respect, it's kind of like thinking about Hitler here. Don't lose me. Hitler, obviously, one of the craziest dictators ever, right? But he was good at his job. Let's just be real here. He was good at his job. He was good at what he set out to do. And that's exactly what Boger could be argued as. Boger, not liked, right? But he's good at this game. Don't get me wrong. So I definitely think Boger can make the final 6. Definitely could be a sleeper to make the final 6. He announced he should be able to race today. He doesn't have to bag groceries. So you never know what could happen. He also raced the Hennessy race here. Boger's pretty solid in trucks. He almost won Texas, which is the race playing in the background. And, yeah, I think Boger could be a sleeper to make the Final 4. Got a track like a Lime Rock. Boger's good at road courses in this game. That's one of his strong suits, if not his best strong suit. And I'm sure he'll put forward his best effort again to make this Final 6. I definitely think it's possible. Definitely think it's possible. A lot of people might be sleeping on Boger entering these playoffs. Not me, though. Now we're going to talk about some people that didn't make the playoffs before we wrap the video up, but obviously could be looking strong for next season. XD. XD, dude, there's days he could have a really good race. I'm not going to lie. There's days he can compete for wins. Only missed the playoffs because of Freddie's Game 7 moment at the end of the race. You know, I definitely think XD can make the playoffs next season, and I think he's only going to get better. He races in real life. That I don't know how much that helps, but, you know, I mean, it can't be negative. Grega, he doesn't race much leagues on this game, but thankfully, I got to thank him. He races my league a lot. Did miss the playoffs, sadly, but, you know, only 11 points behind XD. Again, he was in that mix to where had we not had Freddie win, you know, he would have had way better of a shot. But I definitely think Greg is going to get stronger at this game. He likes the trucks. He likes how they race. And I'm sure he'll come back stronger next season. Moose, obviously really good. Moose did not have a good season, though, I would like to say. Kind of unfortunate. I think there was some lag outs, some DNFs in there, some races where he got wrecked. But Moose, he can be really good at this game. Just had an off season, I guess you could say. Think of like a CJ Stroud sophomore season from Moose. You could think about that. Think about it in that way. Not used to the expectations, or obviously didn't live up to the expectations I think a lot of people had for him. Moose is good at this game, especially at certain tracks. The last person I want to talk about is Slick. Or not Slick. Boom. Boom got suspended early in the season, which was ended up being detrimental for sure. Had to fight back from a huge gap, wasn't able to do it, missed a few more races. I definitely don't think that will happen next season. I think Boom's not going to get into trouble for sure. I think he's going to, I think he's learned. I don't think he's going to get into too much trouble. He's going to avoid penalties, I'm sure, and make it his best effort to make the playoffs, which, Boom, more than good enough to be eligible for the playoffs. Almost won multiple races this season, despite not showing up that much. And I definitely think he can win a race next season, or win a race here in these last few races to end out this season. So, I mean, Boom, I 100% am sure is going to come back even stronger next season. But that's all I got to talk about for this playoff preview / regular season review. Thank you for watching.